Different sorts of stock. The various sorts of stock are what perplex most first-time financiers. That complication creates people to turn away from the stock exchange completely, or to make risky investments. If you are most likely to play the securities market, you should understand what sorts of supply are available and what all of it indicates. Ordinary shares is a term that you will hear quite often. Anyone can purchase ordinary shares, no matter age, income, age, or monetary standing. Common stock is essentially part ownership in the business you are purchasing. As the business grows as well as generates income, the worth of your stock increases. On the other hand, if the company does badly or declares bankruptcy, the worth of your supply drops. Ordinary shares holders do not participate in the daily procedures of a company, yet they do have the power to choose the board of supervisors. Together with ordinary shares, there are likewise various classes of supply. The different classes of stock in one business are usually called Course N and Course B. The fabulous Course A basically provides the supply proprietor more votes per share of stock than the owners of Course B supply. The capacity to develop various courses of supply in a corporation has existed considering that 1987. Several capitalists prevent stock that has more than one course, as well as supplies that have greater than one course are not called common stock. One of the most high-end type of stock is obviously participating preferred stock. Preferred stock isn't precisely a supply. It is a mix of a stock and a bond. The proprietors of preferred stock can lay claim to the assets of the firm in the case of bankruptcy, as well as participating preferred stockholders get the profits of the profits from a company prior to the ordinary shares owners. If you believe that you might choose this preferred stock, understand that the business typically can buy the stock back from the stock proprietor and also stop paying dividends. Let your feet wet, begin spending. If you are anxious to obtain your financial investments started, you can begin immediately without having a lot of expertise regarding the securities market. Beginning by being a conventional capitalist with a reduced threat tolerance. This will give you a method to making your cash expand while you find out more about spending. Beginning with a rate of interest-bearing account. You might currently have one. If you don't, you should. A savings account can be opened at the exact same bank that you do your monitoring at or at any other bank. An interest-bearing account must pay 2-4% accurate that you have in the account. It's not a lot of cash unless you have $1 million because account, but it is a begin, as well as it is money-generating income. Next off, buy money market funds. This can frequently be done with your financial institution. These funds have higher interest payments than normal interest-bearing accounts, however they function much the same means. These are short-term investments, so your money won't be bound for a long period of time, yet once again, it is money making money. Certificates of deposit are additionally audio financial investments with no risk. The rate of interest on CDs are normally greater than those of interest-bearing accounts or cash market funds. You can select the duration of your financial investment, as well as interest is paid on a regular basis until the CD gets to maturity. CDs can be purchased at your bank, as well as your financial institution will certainly insure them versus loss. When the CD reaches maturity, you obtain your initial financial investment, plus the passion that the CD has made. If you are simply beginning, one or every one of these three types of financial investments is the very best starting point. Once again, this will certainly allow your money to begin making money for you while you find out more concerning purchasing other locations. How much money should you invest? Several very first-time investors believe that they ought to invest every one of their savings. This isn't always true. To determine just how much money you need to invest, you need to initially establish how much you actually can afford to invest, and what your economic goals are. Initially, have a look at how much money you can currently manage to spend. Do you have cost savings that you can utilize? If so, fantastic. Nevertheless, you don't want to reduce on your own short when you tie your money up in an investment. What were your savings originally for? It is necessary to maintain 3 to 6 months of living expenses in an easily available savings account. Don't spend that money. Don't invest any type of money that you might need to lay your hands on quickly in the future. If so, begin by establishing how much of your cost savings ought to stay in your savings account, and also just how much can be utilized for financial investments. Unless you have funds from an additional resource, such as an inheritance that you have actually just recently received, this will possibly be all that you presently need to invest. Next, establish just how much you can contribute to your financial investments in the future. If you are employed, you will certainly continue to obtain an income, and also you can intend to use a portion of that earnings to build your financial investment profile over time. Speak with a qualified financial organizer to establish a spending plan as well as determine just how much of your future earnings you will certainly be able to invest. With the help of an economic planner, you can be certain that you are not spending more than you must or less than you need to in order to reach your investment objectives. For several sorts of financial investments, a particular initial investment amount will certainly be needed. With any luck, you have actually done your research study, as well as you have actually discovered an investment that will certainly show to be audio. If this holds true, you most likely currently understand what the needed first investment is. If the cash that you have offered for investments does not fulfill the needed initial financial investment, you may have to consider various other financial investments. Never ever borrow money to spend, and also never ever make use of money that you have not set apart for spending.